Let's create something. Hope you're having a good day. Okay, fourth grade. Today we're going to be talking about one-point perspective landscape drawings. So what is one-point perspective? It's drawing a picture where the viewer is looking down the middle of the street. So what would that look like from a person's point of view if they were standing in the middle of the road looking down a street? First of all, there are a few things that we need to remember while making this drawing. Remember, when things get farther away, they appear smaller. So you need to draw things that are far away, smaller than the things that you're drawing close up. You do not have to draw a road in the middle of your picture. It could be a river or a railroad track or a bike path, whatever you want your viewer to be looking down the middle of. Make sure that when you're done with your drawing that you are coloring your picture in, and then please post your picture on Seesaw. Art is not an optional activity. You need to make sure that you are completing your projects and posting them on Seesaw. Okay, this project can be a little bit tricky, so just try your best. I'm sure it will look great. If you have trouble with the buildings, try and add trees instead of buildings. I have all the faith in the world in my wonderful prairie artists, and I know that whatever picture you submit, it will look wonderful because you guys are hard workers and you're doing a great job. One thing that we're going to talk about with this project that is new is a vanishing point. So a vanishing point is the point where your eyes can no longer see past the horizon line and the road or whatever you're drawing seems to disappear from view. So in order to begin our project, we're going to make sure that our paper is horizontal, not the tall way up and down. Make sure it's going sideways. And you're going to begin with your pencil and make sure that you are drawing lightly in case that you need to erase any mistakes. To begin our drawing, we're going to start by putting a dot in the middle-ish of our paper. It doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of use your eyes to see what looks like the middle. Then we're going to use that dot to make an X go through our whole paper. So from the middle of your dot off to each corner, make a line. After I drew my X, I decided to add 2 more lines so that it would look like a sidewalk going down my road. You could draw a river, you could draw a railroad track or a bike path, and maybe you don't want the extra lines to make a sidewalk. That's up to you. I want to kind of pause at this point in our drawing to explain to you how we're going to draw our buildings to make them look 3D and to make them look like they get smaller. So to begin, where I put those bright stars on the box, those 2 corners of your box are going to have to touch the top and bottom line on the X. So if you start by drawing that line between the 2 X's, then create a rectangle from there. It's a normal rectangle, it's just that the 2 corners touch the top and bottom line of the X. Once you create your rectangle, you're going to make a line where I drew the red line on this paper. That's going to be the back part of our building. And the reason why it looks a little bit smaller than the front of the building is because it's getting further away. It's like if you're looking down the road. Then the only thing left that we have to do is erase your guidelines from the top of your X and create a horizon line, which would be a horizontal line that runs behind your building so that it looks like there's ground or grass behind it. Please know if drawing the buildings is too tricky for you, I'm going to go over it here again in my drawing video, but if it's too hard for you or if you're not understanding, don't worry about drawing the buildings. You could put trees on both sides, which I also show you later in this video as well. Like I said, just do your best, and if it's too tricky or if you're not understanding the buildings, you can put trees on both sides. So as you can see in my drawing video, I'm starting by drawing 3 rectangles and making the tops and the bottoms straight, and just like I said, drawing 3 rectangles with the left-hand corners touching the top and bottom line. And then I'm going back and I'm creating the slanty line for the top and the bottom, which are already there because they're part of your X. And then I'm just connecting them with a straight line on the back side. Once I get done with that part, I erase my guidelines. Actually, the bottom line wouldn't even have to be erased because it's kind of like where your ground is or where your buildings are sitting on. So after I get done drawing the back side of this building, I go up to the top and I erase the top part of that X right here. Okay, and then when I'm done erasing that top part of the X, later on I go back and I add a horizon line or a ground line behind my buildings so you can see where the grass is and where the sky is. Right now I'm just going to start adding details like my sidewalk. When I draw my trees, I also draw them smaller when they're closer to the dot and bigger when they're closer to the outside edge of my paper. Here's where I begin to draw my trees. I start with the tree trunk, which is 2 lines, and then I put a little Y in the middle to put some branches. You can make your branches however you want. If you don't know how to make branches, you don't have to add branches either. And then I finish my tree with a big cloud shape on top. So I make 3 trees on my picture. The one that is closer to the dot or the vanishing point is the smallest. The next one is my medium-sized tree, and my paper, or my tree that is closest to the edge of my paper is my biggest tree. Okay, here's where I'm going to add my horizon line behind my picture. So all a horizon line is a straight line that goes behind my objects. So I start by drawing my straight line. Some of it I can't even see through my trees. And then I draw my straight line behind my buildings. So I go straight and I jump over my buildings and I just put it behind them so it looks like there's ground behind them. Then you can work on any other details you want in your picture. I added clouds and a sun, and I added a car. And then once I was done, I chose to Sharpie it. If you do not have a Sharpie, you don't have to do that part. That's just a personal preference. Okay, I finished Sharpieing my picture, so now I'm going to color it in. I chose colored pencils to color mine with. You can choose whatever drawing supplies or coloring supplies you have at home. Please make sure that you are posting your final and completed project on Seesaw. Remember that your art projects are not an optional activity. You must be submitting them onto Seesaw.